yeah, I got really paranoid over it and I over cleaned it, which made it red and sore. And I also used table salt instead of rock salt, which anybody who has a decent knowledge of piercings knows that that's really, really dodgy. And you're going to give yourself a chemical burn. So don't do that if you have a piercing. Don't. I'm sorry for this, by the way. I'm in my pajamas. So yeah, belly piercing, 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. What was next? My next was my lip, I think. I mean, I've had my snake bites redone 3 times. The first time, I've had them done twice at Flux and once myself. The first time I had them done at Flux, and they did them like here, like really close to the centre, like, and they were uneven. I mean, they're still a bit uneven. I can't really get it straight, and this one's a bit lower. But that's because it migrated, and you can't really see it when you wear a ring, so I didn't mind so much. When I had them done, I was going through my massive like, oh my god, I want lip rings, and I just wanted a lip ring, really. I don't really wear my snake bites that much anymore. They irritate my face. The first time I had it done, they did them uneven and too close to the centre, and I didn't want to be rude and say, look, I don't like it like that, because they were like, oh my god, that looks really good, and oh my god, this is going to really suit you. So I left it, and but they pierced through a vein on this side, and the whole of this bit of my lip, like all of that, went like a black, sort of a blacky purple bruise. And my lip like went 4 times the size it usually is, and it really, really hurt. So I waited until it was all cleaned up, and then I took them out and let them close. Had them redone, and again they did them really uneven, and my school didn't like them, so I don't know, I just took them out again and let them close up, and then I redid them myself, and there we have it. They are a painless piercing. I mean, anybody that's had their lip pierced, or the majority, for me anyway, I found them, again, like a 2, like on par with my belly piercing. They did not hurt. There is, they didn't hurt at all. Next was, I think I had my smiley next, which, for anybody that doesn't know, is under this bit of your lip, up there. And you can wear a bar that sort of hangs down over your teeth, or a jeweled or a straight bar. It's a good piercing if you want a piercing and you want to hide it for school or for work, something like that. I had that done. It was a little bit painful, but it was more like a pinch. It was the healing process which made it hard to eat for me. Excuse me. My next piercing after that was, after my smiley, was it was my tongue, which is this. This was definitely my most painful piercing. Not just through the actual piercing itself, but also through the healing period. Again, I cleaned it with the wrong salt and gave my tongue a chemical burn, which really, really hurt. People often ask me what it looks like with them out, so I'm going to show you. So, oh, it feels horrible without them in. These are my bars. They're just They're clear on one side and metal, some metal bearing on the other, and they're 1.6. So yeah, I don't look right without them in anymore. And my mouth feels really empty. So yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, the initial piercing is, I'd probably say about 7 or an 8 out of 10. It wasn't unbearable. Like, I had my boyfriend with me at the time, and he held my hand while I was doing it, and I had my fingernails on like this bit of his skin, so like he had my hand like that and I held that bit and then was digging in like that, and I actually managed to rip through that bit of his skin where I was so scared of the needles. And my piercer, I ended up kneeing her. I had my knees up, like, just trying, like, I was like squeezing my legs together, like, to try and deal with the pain. And out of a jinx reaction, when she got halfway through the second piercing, I kneed her, and the needle like scraped on through my tongue, and which just made it worse. And she was like, "Oh, you might not want to do that, love." I was like, "Yeah, clearly, obviously, I apologise." And as soon as she was finished and she'd put the bearings in, which were huge, they were like this. They were massive. Right, it got to the point where when the tongue was healed, I'd find like this. My bearings could touch the sides of my nose. Yeah, I stuck my tongue out at my boyfriend, and he sort of like, he went so pale, like, because my tongue was just like pouring with blood. Yeah, it was just pouring with blood, and it really creeped him out, and I couldn't eat. I stayed around his that night. I just stayed around his for about 4 days after I had it done, and I just couldn't eat anything. And I think one of the worst parts as well was waking up in the morning, and where you'd obviously, your body had just, all your muscles relaxed, and when you've woken up, all your muscles have suddenly tensed, and your tongue's just like sprung back to, oh, it hurts so much. It was absolutely agonising. And to people that go, "Oh my god, I want piercings like yours," it's not worth the pain. Like, I love them now, like, but if one of them was to fall out, or if they were to come out, I wouldn't have them redone. My tongue is a funny colour, I'm sorry, I've been eating fluff. There's actually loads left. I've had it for like 2 days. And there's loads left. It's like up here. Use my spoon. So yeah, my next one after my tongue was my hips. I did my hips myself. And before people go into the whole, shouldn't do piercings yourself, it's really unsafe and it's unsanitary, I've taken a piercing course. I know what I'm doing. I am qualified. Everything was safe, all the needles were sterile, all the body jewellery was sterile, I was in a sterile environment, I knew exactly what I was doing. My body just rejected the jewellery. That's not because of the piercing, that is because of my body. Yeah, and I had 2 on each side. And they looked really pretty, I really like them, but they've left horrible scars. Like, my scars are fading now, but they have left horrible scars. Yeah. So, but the piercing of them, they're probably a 6 out of 10. It was the initial piercing didn't hurt. Having the bar scrape through, that hurt. I did them a bit higher up on my hips because I like wearing quite high up trousers and shorts, and I didn't want them to catch. So yeah, my next piercing after my hips was my Christina piercing, and I'm not going to explain that one really. I think that's a bit obvious where that is. If you don't know, I would Google it. You should Google it, not me. I don't